All right. Welcome, Chi Life family. Welcome, Truth Seekers. This is Chi Coil Mastery 101. So I'm very excited to have all of you here. What I would love for you to do, just as we're starting and waiting for more people to come online, I want you to take a moment and just think about what do you want to use Chi Coils for? What do you want to use the power of frequency in your life for? What goal or challenge that you want to attain to or overcome? And do me a favor and just drop that down into the chat box below. And that'll give me more of a sense of what is it that all of us together as a community really want to know about. Where should we focus? So take a moment, no hurry, but really contemplate and really think about what's really important for you. Is it finances? Is it about relationships? Is it about your health? Let me know in the chat below. Okay, and meanwhile, I think we can kick it off. There we go. So I'm sharing my screen now. In case you don't see the screen, please mention that in the chat again. But welcome to Chi Coil Mastery 101. How to transform every area of your life with the power of frequencies. So my name is Boris Kirchner. If you've been around the community for a little while, you must have run into me in one way or another. I am in Chi Life as a trainer, as a product selection helper, sales, and I also run the Transformation Masterclass, which is something I'll mention to you in a little bit. On the screen, the only thing that's really I want you to pay attention to is that when you change your frequency, you change your destiny. This is really, really important point that I want to put across in the beginning. This is the whole reason why we are engaging with Chi coils and engaging with frequency. And also on the right-hand side, all of the various stages of my evolution as I was exploring what is it that really makes a difference? What is it that makes a difference to our health, to our wealth, to our well-being? How do we move in life to create a fulfilling life, to a fulfilling sense of relationship, both with ourselves and with other people? And so I explored in the various dimensions of well-being and health and realized that the answer lies in all of them, actually, in all of them. It is in the holistic synergy of understanding how to, might I say, like triangulate in your life to really understand what is it, what cofactors in my experience actually contribute to how I feel, to how healthy I am, to how I perform. Okay, and I am seeing those answers coming in about working with meditation, health concerns, energy, finances, health, finances, business, mind, wealth. Yes, and Tony's asking about the two Chi coils at the same time. We'll touch in on that. We'll touch in on that. There'll be a slide where I will remember to talk about that. Okay, and spirituality, beautiful. So I want, just before we dive in, I want to give you a few pointers about how to get the most from this session. You're already here, you're already present. So why not get the most download, the most insight, the most benefit from our time together? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to realize that 80% of success is due to psychology. It's essentially due to how we are present here in the moment. Are we distracted? Are we thinking about other different things that are not done yet? Do we have our phones ringing and like our messages popping up? All of this is lowering the quality of the experience for you, lowering your ability to actually absorb the information and insights that may be available here for you. So here are my suggestions. Number one is minimize distractions and have a journal or a piece of paper and pen ready so that you can just note down those things that are most relevant for you. And then, of course, if you have questions, raise your hand. even better, drop those questions into the chat and we can come to them a little bit later. But something urgent and you want to actually have some interaction, some dialogue, then certainly raise your hand, and as soon as I can get to it, I will certainly get to it. Then number 3 is I really want you to engage and take notes. That's why the journal is there, but I want you to give yourself the best possible best chance at understanding the topic that we're talking about. So most of you, I suppose, already have chi coils. And if you don't, there'll be an opportunity to get some, of course. But I want you to be here and very, very present. I want you to engage and take notes and help yourself to, when you go step away from this class, to remember those things that are important for you to get the best benefits and the best results from your chi coils. Okay. And then, of course, share your breakthroughs. If you hear something that's important that you're like, wow, light bulb moment, aha, that's really good for me, then I want you to go ahead and also drop it in your chat. Can I share my screen larger? I can be here like this, but we'll lose the slides. So I'll kind of alternate between this view and the view with the slides because of the way that Zoom works. And so the last bit is I really just want to ask you to bring your full presence, bring your full energy, bring your full attention to this moment. We're going to spend about 60 minutes here together. And I want you to be here like an amazing breakthrough insight is available for you. Okay. Be here with that expectation, with that openness, with that receptivity. And I believe you're going to get the very, very most from this session. So here we go. Today, you are going to learn to, number 1 is activate the mindset of successful transformation. This is about really understanding the concept, the theory, the background, so that you can have confidence in approaching the various areas of your life, the various challenges or goals. We're going to get into that next. Number 2 is how to maximize benefits and results from chi coils and other chi life devices, such as the Aura coil or the resonant wand. Number 3, how to select frequencies and exponentially increase their effectiveness. This is my favorite one. This is really why I wanted to drive this topic home. So we're going to make sure we touch on that. Number 4 is how to cultivate the congruent conditions for personal transformation. Also a very important topic. You can engage with frequencies very passively, and that's okay, and you will get some benefit. But if you engage actively, if you bring, like I was asking you to bring to this class, your full presence, consciousness, attention, and also a technique that is in alignment with the direction that you want to go, then you really, really, truly maximize your potential for transformation, for success, and for endurance or long-lasting shifts in your life, in any area of your life. And lastly, learn how to transform every area of life with the power of frequencies. So here we go. Where to start to get the best results? So the number 1 thing is you want to know where you're going. Really, really important. And it'll be kind of surprising how many of us, even though we're really engaged in our life, but we're kind of engaged in the details of our life and we're not so sure exactly where we're going. So I want to suggest to you, I'm going to share with you this model that it can help you to really dial in and determine what area of your life really needs your attention. Okay, so here's the 8 life arenas. Determine which area of your life needs your attention the most and what you would like to see different. Okay, so we have 8 arenas here. So we have physical health, mental and emotional health, our intimate relationship, which is your relationship with your partner. And some of us may be single. So then in that case, our intimate relationship is essentially with ourselves. Okay. Social connection, which is how is your experience of being connected to the people around you, your network, your neighbors, your community peers, even here within the Chi Life community. Your mission and purpose, how aware are you? Are you on it? Are you beyond being aware, are you actually engaged in it, immersed in it? Are you fulfilling what you feel is your mission and purpose in life? And then spiritual connection is your sense of being connected to source, your sense of true, deep, profound belonging here and now, our spiritual connection. And again, of course, this looks very different for all of us. Financial wellness, how are your finances? How's your sense of how much income you're making? Is it healthy? Is it feeling like it's healthy for you? And then last one is personal growth. Are you progressing? Are you expanding into ever more, into ever higher potentials of yourself? So I'm going to bring those back up on the screen in a moment, but I just want to say that each of these are very subjective measures. So for somebody, if you were to compare your lists with somebody, then you may see that, wow, this person rated it like 10 out of 10. But for you, that same amount, let's say, of income may be a 6 out of 10. So this is very, very subjective, but it is a model that can really help you to really just kind of not get overwhelmed with life, not get overwhelmed with transformation, but really just figure out what is that area? What's that one area in which I can focus and make a difference for myself? Okay, so take a look at this here. I want you to take a moment just right now. Don't put it off for later. We can make a difference right now. So just in your own subjective sense, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being this area of my life is super healthy. It is the best it's ever been. I am in love with the way that I am, the way that my life is in this area. Okay, that's what 10 means. That's what 10 means in physical health, in mental, emotional, in personal growth. 10 means you are in love with the way things are right now. Okay, subjective. That's what we're working with. It's not about any kind of objective measures or somebody kind of looking at you and trying to see how you're doing. Okay, so see what it is. Take a look at each of these 8 areas and write down your scores. And even if you've done this recently, this is a new day. What is your perspective now? What is happening right now? So take a moment and evaluate it. And maybe I would suggest think about a time period of maybe between now and about a month ago. Time frame. How are these things? How are these areas of your life? And then I want you to write a goal, because again, remember what I'm teaching here, what I'm sharing with you is how to get the most out of your chi coils. This is chi coil mastery, right? But chi coil mastery 101. So the number one thing that is going to help you to get more benefit is to know what kind of benefit you really need, what kind of benefit you really want, and to also be able to track it. So as you right now writing down these scores, let's say that after this workshop, you're going to get into a space where you know now how to use it. You're going to select your frequency. You're going to work in the way that we talked about, and then come back to this in a month and then do this over again and then see what is the difference. What's the change that took place? Okay. So after you have determined which area of your life you want to focus on, ask yourself this question. What is something that I would like to essentially see differently? Like, how would this area of my life be like if it was a 10 out of 10? What would be different? What would look different? What would I see in my life as I'm looking around? Or what would I feel? Or what kind of conversations I would have? Try to get this sense of, when you're setting your goal, make sure that you can see it in your mind's eye. Don't make an abstract goal like, oh, well, I'm going to have better friendships. That doesn't do anything. You can't see it, and if you can't see it, you can't hold it. But if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. So we have to start there. Okay, so take a moment to write down your goal. As we move on to the next section, activating the mindset of successful transformation. Why this works and how to think about the process to get and to create the best results. Okay. So here it is. I'm going to share with you 3 angles on this. So this is the mindset of transformation. This is what is going to help you to really understand why frequencies, why your chi coils, why your aura coils or wands, why these things make a difference, and also how to stand in confidence behind it so that you know that you can make a difference in any area of your life. Okay, so the principle of transformation is this. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Okay. So from Nikola Tesla, we have this famous quote: "The secrets of the universe are kept by those who understand frequency, energy, and vibration." Okay, so let's take a pause here and I'll chat with you. So what does this mean? Everything is energy. Like, how do we apply this? Why is this a transformational principle? Why is this the mindset of success? Okay, so the thing to understand about energy is that energy is never at a standstill. It is always moving, always changing, okay, always oscillating, always vibrating. So if we can understand that, then we can look at any area of our life. Let's say our health, and there's something happening with your body. There's some kind of an illness condition, right? So if that's the case, the way that we would traditionally think about it is we would say, oh, there's something in my body. And then the model of medicine comes in. It's like, oh, I got to cut it out. I got to burn it out. I got to use some kind of drugs or poison to get that disease out of my body. Okay, that's one way of approaching this. But the other way, when we begin to understand that our body, this body is made up of energy, frequency, and vibration, that this body is really not something solid and permanent and kind of like, how can I say, unmovable or unchangeable. No, in fact, it is the most changeable. That part of your experience, which is most responsive to your consciousness and to frequency, is going to be your body. It's going to be your thoughts, emotions, and then your body, and then your environment. So this body, as an example, again, we're working with this idea, everything is energy. This body is energy. It means this body is very fluid, which means that even those conditions that I might have, those are also very fluid, very changeable, okay? Let's go to the next slide. We're going to expand on this. So everything is energy, and that's all there is to it, Einstein says, right? Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. There, it can be no other way. It is not philosophy. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So what he's saying here is that everything is energy, everything is moving, right? But when we attune to a particular station, it's almost like, again, like radio, we are tuning in to various possibilities, except in your direct experience, what you're doing is you're tuning into various possibilities of the way, like in our example that we're working with, in the way your body manifests, okay? So your body, you know, what's within the range of possibility? It's not that your body can suddenly become a giraffe, okay? You can't just necessarily manifest a giraffe body right now. Maybe you can, I can't, but let me actually drop this here. But within your range of possibilities, like there are different versions of this body that you can have. There's versions that are more strong, that are more fit. There's versions that are less fit. There's versions that are overweight, underweight. There's versions that manifest this kind of disease or that kind of disease. And then there's ones that are completely free of those diseases. So when we're using frequency, we are in essence, you can think about it in one of two ways, that you are tuning in to a station where that version of yourself, that version of that outcome is already there. That's one. And if that's too far down the rabbit hole, then it's simply this. It's that we're using frequency to shape our reality. We're using frequency to change the way that the energy is moving, give it a new, how can I say, mold, a new morphogenetic field for it to express into. So that's what we're doing with frequency. So I hope you're beginning to understand that what we're talking about here is the very real possibility of you being able to change, to transform any area of your life, anything that you don't like, into another version of it, a better version of it, a more refined version of it, a more resonant version of it that matches your vibration, that matches your soul vibration, your desire. Okay. Let's bring that screen back up. So now on the right-hand side, nothing rests, everything moves. This is the principle, the law of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. At the most fundamental level, the universe and everything which comprises it is pure vibratory energy, manifesting itself in different ways. There is no solidity as such. Matter is merely energy in a state of vibration. Okay, so as you look at your life, what I want you to experience is that you're looking out and you're seeing a sea of energy. You're seeing that everything, everything that is in your environment, every life circumstance, every arena, let's just work with our framework, every one of those 8 arenas is an expression of energy, and it's moldable, it's changeable, it is subject to your intention, okay? And that's what we're going to learn how to cultivate and how to empower using the power of frequencies. So here's what I want you to take away as the mindset of success. Everything can change. Nothing that you perceive or experience is permanent. And I want you to now just take a moment and think those different problems that we run into in life that get us down, that make us feel upset or done wrong, or however, you know, those things that are hard to forgive. The reason that they're hard to forgive is because we have a sense of permanence. We have a projection from our consciousness where we were programmed essentially that way. As we grew up in this 3D reality, we were programmed into perceiving everything as very solid, real, and existentially so right out there. And so as we look at the environment and we see, oh my God, it's this way, we can't change it. We feel hopeless. We get that sense. Why do we feel hopeless, depressed, anxious? Because we subconsciously, and we're going to get to this too, we subconsciously feel that this thing is permanent, this thing that has gone wrong, this thing that my partner said to me, oh, it's permanent, I can't change it. This way that my boss at work saw me, he saw me that I wasn't, he saw me as incapable, you know, and so we have that sense of permanence attached to it. So what we're working with the mindset of success, what I want you to download into your perspective is to look at any area of your life and know without a shadow of a doubt that everything can change. And in fact, change is the only thing that is always doing. So it is always already changing. It's only up to you to align with that momentum and actually direct it consciously instead of allowing it to run on default. So in your practice of transformation, take confidence in knowing that no limitation, obstacle, problem, or challenge that you encounter is ever binding. All objects, all conditions, all relationships, and all circumstances are malleable, okay? So this is in essence the mindset of success. We want to face our reality with a very clear and accurate understanding that we can influence it to be the way that we want it to be. Without this, what we're doing is we're struggling. We are hoping. We are maybe praying. Maybe, you know, we're essentially in a place where we think that power is out there and we need to somehow manipulate, force, trick, get, you know, we're feeling like the power is out there and we need to somehow avert its negative edge, so to speak. But the truth is the opposite. The truth is the power is in here. The truth is the power is in your energy, in your perception, and the way that you perceive and the way that you are conscious about the various areas, arenas of your life. That's the way, that's the main influence that is making them to be the way that they are. So what do we do with that? Let's go next. So how to select frequencies and exponentially increase their effectiveness. Okay, so I want to talk to you about this. This is kind of the core that we really want to get clear. So let me read this off, and we're going to go into deeper detail. So follow along here. So number one thing, and we already covered this. I'll make that connection in a second. So number one is the theme and intention, the theme of your frequencies, the theme of your focus, okay? What does that theme relate to? It relates to those life arenas. It relates to your goal. Touch there in a second. Number two is about frequency collections. So selecting actual frequency. There's different ways to approach it. We'll cover those in a moment. And lastly, to create custom programs, okay? So the number one thing is about determining the theme and intention. So once you have your goal, let's say that you decided, okay, so in my arena of relationship or in my arena of health, this is the place where I want to focus. This is my number one focus right now. And I want you to, just for now, because this is 101, I want you to just pick one. Just pick one core area to work with in this context. And you can, of course, later go beyond that. But right now, let's again work with that example of health. Okay, let's say that I have chronic pain. Okay, it's not debilitating. I'm still living my life, but it's there. Okay, so now I want to essentially determine my theme and intention. So what this part is about, it's about you saying, okay, I'm going to create one frequency session and I'm going to work with that session. So what is the theme of that session? So in that example, we say, okay, so the theme is I want to reduce pain, but maybe you don't necessarily know. What about beyond that? Like, what causes pain? If you're not too sure, then this is where you want to get help. But you can also begin to research, and we're getting into number 2 now. But so let's say you research and you find out, okay, so pain, what's related to pain? Inflammation, nerve impingement, maybe. You find out that maybe toxins in the body are related to it, energy stagnation. Okay, so you're getting more of a picture. So this is the theme. So we're saying the theme is I want to heal this pain, and now I'm beginning to think about what are the relevant categories or topics. So what really can make a difference for me in that area. And then we want to go to the actual selection of the frequency collections. Just bring this back up so you can see. So there's different ways that you can select these frequencies. So number 1 is the intuitive approach. So this is something that I often recommend to clients who are just in touch with their sense of direction, their sense of intuition, in essence. So the intuitive approach simply means that you open the G-Coil app and you begin to look through it, and you're just kind of looking through the selections, the collections, and you're trying to see, okay, so which ones of these, I'm going to try something here, by the way. I did this in practice. I wanted to share the screen so I can kind of show you what's happening in the app. So let me see if this can happen. If I can show you the screen, I will walk you through. Otherwise, I'll talk you through it. Okay. So wow, there it is. Okay. So here we go. So what you want to do is you want to look through these different collections and really get a sense for yourself. What here contributes to my intention? So we're talking about the intention of physical health, and we're talking about, we also have other examples, the relationship, etc. I'm going to see if when I'm sharing this, it doesn't seem to let me move through it. So this is what I would recommend you do, is you look through the different collections and see what's in it. See what is really relevant to your experience. See what really makes a difference, like what resonates. So that's the intuitive approach. The intuitive approach is simply that you are looking at it and you are determining for yourself what frequencies, what collections, what makes sense, what really resonates with my intention, okay? And next is you can also approach this more in that research-based approach, which means that you go into Google and you start to type in like, oh, okay, so I have pain in my knee. What could it be? And you start to look and you say, okay, so maybe arthritis, maybe I need strength in there. So you start to basically educate yourself and try to really see which frequencies, which themes, which topics really make sense for you to work with. And I'll share it on the next slide in terms of how many we're going to choose. But here's just the choosing process. And the last one is, of course, consultation process, or just speaking. It's either speaking to one of our staff or speaking directly to me, or we can even go more in depth and actually have a kind of a coaching consultation call where we can do a full intake and get a sense of what direction and frequencies would be best for you, and then I would recommend them to you. I would even create the protocol for you. Okay, and lastly is you want to create custom programs. And for some reason, when I share the screen, it doesn't allow me as much to actually, it kind of freezes up. So let me see if I can show you how to make those playlists. I think many of you already know, but just in case, because I know this is a question that comes about often. So the way that you make playlists is up here. You tap the programs, which is this area right here. So you tap the programs, and then when programs opens, you just tap here, you create, you name it what it might be. And here's an example of the different playlists that I have. So you might create playlists for morning time, evening time, for your, here I have for your brain, for relationships, for releasing stress and negativity. So the way that you actually add things to a playlist is that you go over to the albums. Oops. You go over to the albums, and inside of the album, what you're going to notice is this button. And then right here, it says add to program. So when you tap add to program, you can add it to anything that you see here on the list. Okay, so this is going to make more sense in just a moment, where I'll tell you about how to put together your session. Okay, but meanwhile, let's dive right into the next slide. Okay, so here's in summary, we're talking about selecting frequencies and increasing their effectiveness. Here's the part that increases their effectiveness. All of the frequencies that you choose to work with should be on the same theme. And I'm not saying overall, I'm saying just right now, we're working with this one goal. So you don't want to select one frequency for a relationship, one frequency for your health, one frequency for your finances. It will be like having open many different tabs, or like having multiple kind of consultants consulting you on the same time on different topics. It's in essence, it doesn't create that coherence, that sense of, it's not even a sense. It doesn't give it enough form, enough direction, enough momentum. So you really want to select all of your frequencies on the same theme, especially when you're working with a particular goal. So all on the same theme. The way that you select them is you either use your intuitive approach, and you go, for example, even on Chi Life Store, and you start to look and you see which ones really resonate with me, with this theme, with this topic, with this goal. Okay, this one, great. So, and then you might choose a collection, or you might work with me and get a recommendation from me. And then what you want to do is you want to put them into a custom program. Okay, so next is cultivating the congruent conditions for personal transformation. And I think right after that, yes, we're going to get into actually how to structure the sessions. Okay, so how to cultivate the congruent conditions. Okay, number one thing is you want to be in receptive mode. You want to be in a place where you are available, you are present, you are engaged, and you're receptive. And what is the ultimate state of receptivity or receivership? It's gratitude. So it's in a sense the way that you want to approach your experience with your chi coils or with your frequency devices. You want to approach it with a space of like, wow, okay, I'm grateful to have this opportunity of transformation. You're not saying that the power of transformation is just in the chi coils or just in the device. What you're saying is, I am ready to receive. You're in essence saying this to yourself. You're saying this to God. You're saying this to the universe. You're saying, I'm ready for that next level. I know what my goal is. I feel called to that goal, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. I am going to make this difference for myself. Okay, so this is receptivity. This is you being in the mode of receiving. And when you're actually in your session, receptivity also looks like that you're available there for your session. Yes, you can use frequencies when you're watching TV or just doing other things, and they will have a certain degree of benefit, and it'll also depend which frequencies you use. But the way that you're going to get the most benefit from it is that you show up to your session with a sense of like, wow, I am on my journey. I am making a difference to my life. I am shifting that area of my life. I know what my goal is, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing it and I'm cultivating it within my own consciousness. And then the last thing about receptivity, how do you know that you actually really received something? Well, if you receive something, then you can give it. Another way to talk about this is to take actions from faith. Take actions from faith, meaning that let's say that you're working on your relationship and you're doing your sessions, and then you're kind of, you know, maybe you've been having a lot of distance between you and your partner, okay? But you've been doing these sessions, you've been cultivating a new consciousness about it, okay? And now what you would do, this is kind of like the ultimate, but you need to be in faith, you need to be in confidence, you need to be in a space where you are deeply centered and you have a knowing within you. And you take an action, such as, so if you've been quite distanced from your partner, the action may simply be that maybe out of the blue, you go and you buy them flowers and you come home and you say, hey, I love you. I know I haven't done this for a while, but I just felt inspired to buy these for you. I hope you love them. You know, so you approach it like that. That's an action that's taken from faith. It's an action that's taken from the new level of consciousness, a new frequency that you are developing. Okay. Just checking into the chat. It'll be like the last meditation you ever have. Awesome. Okay, so next is belief. Okay, so we talked about receptivity. Now we're talking about belief. So belief is, you want to cultivate belief, right? So just like we were cultivating receptivity by practicing gratitude, by taking actions from our faith, by being in a state of receptivity, showing up in our session like that. Now to cultivate belief, belief is that sense that it's possible. How do you form a belief? Do you know that all beliefs are actually, well, should I go there? All beliefs are false. Beliefs, if you, when you know something, you don't need to believe in something. It's a knowing. Like, I don't, you and I don't believe that we are. We simply are. We know that we are. If I told you right now, if I came over, you know what, you are not, you don't exist. You know that, you know, it would be silly because you know that that's not true. But a belief is something that is a construct. It's a mental construct. And so the way that but it actually makes a very big difference. Your beliefs get out pictured as your circumstances in your life. So the way that we cultivate positive belief, the belief that transformation is possible, not that it's possible, that it's already happening, not that it's already happening, that it already happened, that I'm living now in my new reality. How do we cultivate that sense of belief, that sense of ignoring appearances, as the scripture teaches us? Judge not by appearances, right? But judge through your vision. Without vision, people perish. But the vision is your goal. It's what you want. It's that version of life. What do you want to see differently? What do you want to see? That's the vision, okay? And you want to now build up your belief that this vision is truly possible, okay? That this vision is not even possible, that it's happening, not that it's happening, that it happened already, okay? So how do we do that? So what we do is we begin to look for synchronicities. We're doing our practice, and then outside of our practice, we have a mindfulness on. We have a sense where we are looking around in our world, listening to our thoughts, listening to the conversations around us, and looking for synchronicities, looking for a sign that the change is happening. So if we were, for example, working on our health, and then somebody says to us, hey there, Tony, you look great. You look great today. In your mind, you say, okay, wow, it's already being reflected in my world. It's already there. I'm seeing it. I was just working on my health, and now I'm seeing it reflected back to me. Beautiful. I'll take it. That way. It's that way. Or maybe you might even just be sitting in a restaurant and you overhear a conversation on the next table, and they're talking about a liver cleanse, and you're just working on your liver, and you say, wow, yes, I see it. I see. Okay, that's a synchronicity. That's a connection. And you build your belief. You build your belief momentum. And as your belief builds, so does actually your receptivity. The more you believe it is possible, the more receptive you become to it. Okay. So Next is to identify and dissolve limiting beliefs. Okay, the beliefs that contradict that something is possible for you are called limiting beliefs. And what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs are actually just lies about yourself, lies that you've picked up from different relationships, from your childhood. What are limiting beliefs? Some of the top limiting beliefs are like, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I can't do this, no one likes me. But this is not true, right? Um, each one of those can be disproven. So the way that you want to approach this is you want to see any time that as you are going towards your goal, okay, anytime as you're going towards your goal, you're doing your sessions, you're working with your coils, and if you bump into a place where it's like, you suddenly feel like, oh, I can't do this goal, oh, it's too hard, then ask yourself, why do I think it's too hard? And then it's going to start to reveal the belief to you. Another question that you can use to reveal what that belief, that limiting belief is when you feel contracted, when you feel a sense of like, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't achieve that, or it will never work out, or whatever you feel. As you're feeling that low feeling, ask yourself, what must I believe in order to feel this way? What must I believe in order to feel this feeling? Huh. So as you ask yourself that, what will come up is, oh, well, I believe that, I can't lose weight because my dad was fat and so was his dad, and so, we kind of go down that route. So as soon as you identify it, it is up to you now. And there are many techniques, and you can YouTube, how to change and remove negative beliefs. You can also use frequencies for that. But the essence of it is you simply, in the middle of that belief, you poke holes in it. You find out how it's not true. You can use Byron Katie's 4 questions, which is like, first you see what that belief is. You say, what must I believe in order to feel this sense of limitation? Oh, it's this. And you ask about that. Is it true? And then your automatic response may be like, yeah, of course it's true. Otherwise I wouldn't feel this way. And then you say, is it absolutely true? Is it true? Do I know that this is true with absolute certainty, with the certainty of God, that this is the way that I think it is? Is it so? Normally, unless we have a incredibly aggrandized ego, normally our ego begins to wobble at that point. And our ego is simply this construct, this personality kind of construct, based on separation and based on different things that it picked up over the lifetime. So it begins to wobble, and suddenly you have your first crack in the seemingly impenetrable wall of limiting belief, because now you're not so sure if it's absolutely true. And then you ask yourself, well, is there any peaceful, happy, or productive reason, any good reason for me to hold on to this belief? Well, no, I feel kind of crappy. I don't like it. I feel like it's standing in the way of my goals. So there isn't really a good reason to keep it. And then you just ask yourself, who would I be without that belief? If I couldn't think that thought anymore, how would I see this situation? I couldn't think that anymore. And so this way, what you're doing, and you can combine this with frequencies that can support you in this direction, clearing, releasing frequencies. I would suggest, again, the Transformation Meditation Collection, which has a lot of really beautiful, powerful clearing frequencies, can help you to release these limiting beliefs. Okay. Next is practice. Okay. So this is really important. Many of my mentors said this: practice, practice, practice. Don't just think about it. Don't just talk about it. We have this capacity within our own mind that kind of tricks us into saying like, oh, I already know this. I know that. Yeah, I know what I want. I know that frequencies can help me get there. And then we do nothing. But trust me, if you do nothing, you will get nothing. If you just keep doing the same thing that you're doing and no change happens, even though you say you know, better to say you don't know, because it tricks you into thinking that something is already so, but it's not really actually so. And you, at a certain level of yourself, are aware of that, aware that it's not so. So it's really important that you put the chi coils to use. you need to actually use them. You need to practice with them. It's a daily practice. This is how you get the maximal results. You actually apply yourself on a daily basis. Let's talk about how now. Okay, so how to maximize benefits and results from Qi Coils and Qi Life devices. Number one is consistency. Number two is energetic repatterning, requires a certain time period. And number three is frequency and duration, how often and for how long. Okay, so let's talk about this. Number one is consistency. Okay, so momentum is the key to success. Okay, momentum is the key to success, but momentum is also the key to failure. If you have a momentum of doing, let's say, a habit that's not productive and not leading you in the way that you want to go to, that momentum will lead you to failure. But if you start to cultivate a momentum, such as when you're using your Qi Coils and you're in your sessions, you want to cultivate that momentum because you know that what you're doing is connected to your goal. You know that you've already identified what the goal is. You know which life arena it's in. Now you've chosen the right frequencies, the frequencies that are most relevant to it. Now we're going on to the next space, which is you want to consistently apply it, right? We know we needed to practice it, but now we need to do it consistently. What does that actually mean? Okay, so consistent practice, and this relates to energetic repatterning. How long do you practice consistently for? You want to, here's what you want to do. You want to select a selection of frequencies, okay? Frequencies that are all on the same theme and focused on the same goal. And I would recommend that you don't take any more than 4 frequencies, okay? So if you were going to use them all in a session, that would be a 20-minute session. They're all for 5 minutes each, okay? So you take these frequencies and you put them in a playlist, in a program, just like we talked about. And next, what you want to do is you want to stick with that one session. Make sure that you do that one session at least once a day. If you skip a day, it's okay. I understand that, of course, it's sometimes I skip a day too, but you always want to come back to that sense of consistency. If you skip, pick it up again. But if you really want to make a huge difference and you want to see that, then don't skip and continue this for the whole period of energetic repatterning, which I'll talk to you in a second. It will take you at least 21 and up to 40 days to experience that full, in essence, download. And here's one way that you can think about how it works. We each have our own default frequency, the frequency that we hang out in the most. This is our home-based frequency. We're used to it. We can also call this our comfort zone. This is where we're comfortable. Even if we're deeply uncomfortable, at least we know it, right? And by that means we're comfortable in it. So this energetic repatterning is what you're doing is when you're using your frequency device, be it Qi Coils, Aura Coil, wand, what you're doing is each time that you use it, what happens is, let's say your home-based frequency is right here. Each time you use it, it starts to move over like this, and then you stop using it and it goes like this. So you use it day 1, it comes back to its home. Day 2, it comes back to its home. Day 3, it comes back to its home. Day 4, and it's a little bit off. And then it starts to inch over. It starts to move over to your new frequency, essentially your new set point. And this new set point is, in essence, what we want to cultivate. This is how you maximize the benefits from your practice sessions. Number 1 is don't pick frequencies all over the place. Pick frequencies that are all on theme, maximum of 4. You can do 1 frequency and play that. You can do 2 frequencies and and play that and repeat it in essence 4 times. The recommendation is that each session lasts between 20 and 30 minutes. Okay, so this is perfect. So if you have 3 frequencies, maybe you play, you have those 3 and maybe you repeat it once. So you play 3 and 3 and that ends up being a half hour. If you have 4, just play them once. So that ends up being 20 minutes. If you have 1, just repeat it 4 times. That'll be the 20-minute session. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to take that same theme of frequencies. We want to use that daily for 21 to 40 days. And then we want to, how often should we use it? We can use it once a day, or we can use it multiple times a day. You can also have more than one of these sessions and themes. Let's say you can, in the morning, you're working on your, let's say, finances, manifestation of finances. And in the evening, maybe it's about relationship, or maybe it's about health, or maybe it's about sleep for you. So whatever it may be, you can have multiple sessions. I would suggest no more than 3 sessions per day. So they can be different or they can be the same. But if you repeat it the same, all the more momentum you're building behind that intention, behind that new set point that you're developing. Okay. So here's, in summary, what we're talking about. We're talking about consistency, which means build momentum, try not to skip too many days or miss too many days, continue it daily. And continue daily now, number 2, energetic repatterning. We want to set a new set point for ourselves. And that means that we continue for 21 to 40 days. It's almost like setting a habit, very, very similar, except this is an energetic habit. Okay. And lastly, the frequency and duration means that we are practicing at least once a day, up to 3 times for 20 to 30 minutes each time. Okay. So one other little kind of tip is I want to make sure that everyone's aware that when you are using your chi coils, when you're working with the frequencies, make sure that you are always topped out on your volume. Okay. Make sure that you're at 100% here. And I also suggest that if you're using the mobile amplifier, then you use 100% there too. Just turn it up all the way. Unless this feels, too sensitive, or, you start to feel like it's too much energy. But for most of us, I would say it's perfect. Is to have them all turned up. This is how you're going to get the most. Justin, you're so welcome. Thank you so much. And yeah, take great care. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Next, here we go. I'm going to touch on this, and then I'm also going to bring up, Tony, you mentioned the question, so I'm going to cover that one too. But this is an important one. This one comes up a lot. Which chi coil to use when? So some of us have both chi coils, yin and yang. Some of us have only the yin. For example, if you have even the mini twin, then you have 2 yins. So which one do you use, and when do you use it? Yin and yang, right? So here's the basic layout. I see, Dawn, that you raised your hand. Can you drop your question in the chat while I explain this? So what we want to do is, there's a question here. Do you set the chi coil on high or low? Can you put it on when you sleep? So with some, okay. So in terms of setting it for high or low, I should check. Let me check for you. I can't recall it, but you do set it and you kind of leave it on 1. So because it's just left on 1, I don't quite recall about changing it. So mine is set on low, and I would also check with David about this one. I really want to make sure that that's the correct one, because I don't usually use my mobile amplifier. We'll double check and make sure that we get back to you on that. Can you put it on when you sleep? You can, but if you, again, with the chi coils are devices that are essentially not really designed to run for many, many hours at a time. Okay, so if you're running it, for example, off of your mobile power kit and you have it plugged in, so it just keeps basically charging it and playing at the same time as you're sleeping, you will very quickly burn out that amplifier or that mobile power kit. Okay, so you don't want to do that, but you also don't really need to have it on all the time when you sleep. What you can do is you can set a timer and you can use it while you're, getting ready for sleep. And then when it runs out, just let it run out. If you wanted a device that you can leave on while you sleep, one of the best devices for that is going to be the Aura Coil. The Aura Coil is designed to be on and to be playing 24 hours a day. It won't overheat. It won't burn anything out. It's running off of a much greater capacity amplifier. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. What's the benefit of having two yins in the mini? Why did it not have a yin and yang? And how can you purchase a yang to use with the yin on the mini? Yeah, Don, it makes sense. Thank you so much for your question. There is no yang for the mini. So if you wanted to work with both polarities, then you would need to go up to the Qi Coil 2 or 3 or the Max system. So there isn't a yang. What's the benefit of the two yins? Well, actually, yin is one of the most used polarities, so to speak. Yeah, polarities. This is actually what I was explaining too. So let me just jump into that of when we use yin, when we use yang. So the yin coil has to do with expansion, with releasing, with relaxation. So yin, that counterclockwise, is unwinding, just like, I think, yeah, with screws, right? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So the counterclockwise direction of the yin coil is about releasing, expanding, opening, clearing. So when you would use it, is you would use it when you're working with any form of healing, when you are working with meditation, when you're working with relaxation, when you're working with manifestation. You would use it in many, many cases. So you see, Don, this is why essentially, you know, the yin, or sorry, the minis are yin. The minis are also the kind of the entry level device, the device that allows anybody to have, you know, a full experience of frequency without having to spend thousands of dollars. So in that case, and for most beginners, I would suggest that you just stick to yin. But if you have both polarities, now let's talk about the yang. When would you use yang? Yang is the contractive force, right? So you would use yang only for short periods of time, maybe 10, maybe up to 20 minutes. But you would use it when you want to have amazing focus. Think about the yang coil like coffee, okay? It's an upper. It's something that is helping you to get into action, into dynamic expression. It's something that is helping you focus, helping you energize, okay? So when would you use something like that? Maybe before working out, maybe you're having kind of scattered mind and you need to focus on something. So for example, instead of drinking a cup of coffee, you can give yourself an energized session of the Yang Qi coil, okay? So I hope that's making sense, right? So one is expanding and helping you release, one is contracting and helping you to energize. Another time that I might use the Yang coil is when I'm working with affirmations, when I'm working with programming, when I'm having an inner focus, but I am in essence working to impress something upon myself, upon my subconscious. So we could experiment with it there. I want to go back because I think Tony was asking something. Can you please explain how to use the two coils at the same time? Yes. Okay. So the way that you would use, one quick second. Okay. So the way that you would use the two coils at the same time is you would use what we'd call a yin-yang combiner, okay? Which is essentially this cord that allows you to plug both Qi coils into it and send the signal down both channels, okay? So if you connect both polarities together and you're using the yin and the yang, what I would suggest is that these are essentially experiences of balancing polarity. You can do a number of things with it that can be very effective. Number one is for physical healing. If you have aches and pains, put one on one side and one on the other side. I should just grab that one here. So you can put one on one side, one on the other side, and now you're using both polarities to essentially stimulate that area. They're both putting out the same intensity, the same frequency, but in opposite directions. So I might go something like this, or in essence like this, front and back. And then what I would do, I would recommend is that you would actually switch them. So for one session, go like this, and for the other session, switch them back. Another beautiful application is, Chipo is asking about, for procrastination. Yeah, so if you're having a sense of like, I can't quite get to something, definitely give yourself a dose of yang. You may use even, again, just that energized frequency. and get into action, see how that affects you, what impact it has on you. So the second application of yin and yang, beautiful one, is meditation. Okay, so when you're meditating, whatever frequency you're working with, maybe it's the pyramid frequencies, maybe it's some of the inner circle frequencies. So what you want to do is, you in essence, you can just hold them in your hands or just leave them next to you on either side of your body, and just enjoy that experience. And about halfway through, switch them, or next session, switch them, and you're going to continue to balance the polarities for yourself. When you're using them both at the same time, the yang doesn't have the same kind of yang effect. It doesn't have the same level of contraction, because at the same time you're opening, right? So you can definitely go beyond that 10 to, well, you still maybe want to stick in the beginning to about 20 minutes, about 20 minutes for that session, but you can definitely go beyond that 10 or 15 minutes that is normally recommended for the yang. Okay. So we're getting close to the end, and here's the summary, right? How to transform every area of your life with the power of frequencies. Number one is you set a goal and align your mindset. You want to know what you want and why you want it. Number two is remember the principle of transformation. Remember that everything's energy. Remember that you can influence that energy through your intention, through your attention, and through frequencies. Okay, step two is select resonant frequencies. Select the frequencies that resonate with your goal, right? Remember to be clear about the intention and the theme that you are working on within that session. And you can select these frequencies using an intuitive approach, a research-based approach, or get a recommendation of the frequency selection. And step number three is, sorry, I'm just seeing a Q&A here. I will answer it in a second. Okay, and step number three is about cultivating those congruent conditions that we talked about, which is receptivity, belief. Whoops. I don't know if you guys can see that too. There we go. Receptivity, belief, and practice. Practice with the best practices. Best practices is what we just covered in terms of how to actually structure your session. Okay. So some questions coming in. How are the gold magnets used with these? Awesome question. So there we go. So the way that we would use the magnets is that you would take your coil. Let's say I'm working with a wrist injury or just kind of like wrist strain. So on one side, I want you to put the chi coils. I actually don't have the magnets with me. Okay. I'm going to use something a little bit different here. I'm going to use the magnet stone. Okay. By the way, so the magnet stone has nothing on those gold-plated rare earth magnets, which are incredibly powerful, but I'll use this for our demo purposes. Actually, I should go full screen for these. Okay, so on the bottom, let's say we have the chi coil, or we can have it on top. It doesn't really matter. Very flexible in that. And then what you would do is you would then, I'm going to let go of the chi coil for now, is you would take the magnet and you would place it right there on top, right on the opposite side of where the chi coil, where the chi coil was. Okay. So with the magnet up here, what it's doing as you are, okay, good try. Anyway, what the magnet is doing is it's actually pulling the energy right through. So how the energy comes out of this chi coil is it actually mimics the shape that you're seeing here, the toroid shape. So the energy comes out, but instead of it just being kind of expressed in all directions, which is what it's doing normally, what the magnet does is that it pulls that energy and it pulls it right through the point where it matters to you most. So this is how you essentially control it, is that you take the north side of those gold rare earth magnets and you place it down onto your skin, right opposite to basically where you might have your pain or injury or an area that you want to work with. And it will help to pull that electromagnetic energy right through, concentrated in the area, and a, you will experience a very accelerated healing, a very accelerated difference in your level of pain. Okay. So another question, why does it say not to hold or not to put the coils on your head? For example, crown chakra. Seems I did read that, but no reason. Okay, so I want to speak to you from my experience. So this is a guideline, okay? The guideline is not to have it within about a foot of your head or of your brain. I want you to contrast this with the experiences, let's say, even of MRI, which is medical technology used for scanning, which is magnetic resonance. And it's far more powerful than the chi coils in terms of the output. And that scans your head, and that's okay. We also have transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is incredibly powerful magnets being pulsed right through somebody's brain. And this has also been very effective at helping people with depression, with anxiety, with all kinds of like essentially psychological problems, even like bipolar or schizophrenia. And this has had a really solid record of success as well. So you can see it is used, magnetic stimulation. So what we're doing with the chi coils is it's the same, it's electromagnetic energy. So, you know, should you use it on your head? I would say, again, as an official stance, we say don't, because again, there's things in your brain that are very sensitive, magnetically sensitive. But you know, I would say that if you want to explore outside of those guidelines, I have, and I'm still standing, and feel great, and you know, no headaches or anything. So I have worked with that, and even before joining Chi Life, in working with other frequency technologies and pulsed electromagnetic field devices, we've used them on our heads for a long time. So I'll leave you with that answer, right? I hope that's helpful, Don. It basically, what I'm saying is you decide, you determine, and maybe even do some of your own research about that. She says, thank you, I have a very hard head. It's awesome, Don. Beautiful. Okay, so in essence, this is the summary. And what I want to also do is I want to, oh, looks like there's maybe one more. Okay, so Chipa also says she explored having it away from her ear, and she had a headache. Okay, so yeah, so basically, like if you have any sense of headache or anything as you are holding it near your head, if it's uncomfortable anyway, stop it and just use it elsewhere. It's not necessary. And again, for myself, it's been very, very long since I like actually put it on my head. I typically might put it like, for example, if I'm sitting on the couch, I might put it on that ledge behind me. So it's still a little bit away. But remember that your chi coils extend multiple feet. So even if you have it kind of near the vicinity, that's okay. You're still getting brainwave entrainment. Okay. So what I would do before we close is share some opportunities for you about some advanced training opportunities. But more questions are coming in, so let's answer those first. Okay, beautiful. So Janet is saying, for the Auracoil, can we put on any frequency 24/7 or only certain frequencies? You see, what I would say with regards to that is, when you're using the Auracoil, there's two ways to use it, right? One is the active way, where you're actually receiving a full body session, which means that you take your Auracoil and you put it, let's say, under a chair, and you sit on that chair and you like meditate, or you put it under a massage table or even under a bed or a couch, and you relax and you receive a full body session. You are actually in the middle of that vortex, right on top of it. Okay, in that case, I would suggest, yes, of course, use any frequency that's relevant to you, right? You can even use, excuse me, Rife frequencies. You can use any of the quantum or higher quantum frequencies. Excuse me. But with the kind of more passive application of the aura coil, where you simply just kind of like have it somewhere, like let's say on your coffee table, and there it is, I would really recommend that you use frequencies that are more attuned to, like, I wouldn't just broadcast a liver cleansing frequency as an example. What I would choose is things that positively impact mood. Like, for example, under abundance happiness, that's a beautiful collection, amazing collection to work with mood, with, and even with any kind of distortions to our emotional well-being. Okay, so I would broadcast something like luck boost, or one of the abundance frequencies, or one of the mood frequencies, something that is basically more about setting the atmosphere, having a beautiful coherent atmosphere, or even just the regenerate frequency, right? Rather than something very specific like like liver cleanse, or like testosterone boost, or things like that. Those I would save for those focused sessions. Okay, I hope that helps, Janet. Let me know if I'm going to expand on that. So here are some opportunities. Okay, so number one is I want to invite those of you who want to go really, really deep into this transformational work, a year of mastery. So this is 365 days of unlimited frequency laser coaching with me. So really, this is about having a very specific goal, or multiple goals in life. So maybe you have many different things that you're working on, and you want somebody by your side that can help you to not only choose frequencies, but can help you to really tune into what's really important. How do you combine different techniques so that you can achieve that in your life? How do you process and overcome certain goals and obstacles, right? So you, if you want to have greater clarity and focus in your day, you want support in that, you want to get past feeling stuck, and you want to start to take decisive steps in your life. You want to feel like you're on top of things and actually getting things done. If you want to put yourself out there and let people know that you're open for business, for those of you who are, entrepreneurs, but really just waiting to start your business. I know I've talked to so many of you who want to put your craft out into the world. Okay, and if you want to stop putting your energy into worry and put it into action and results to manifest better health, wealth, and relationships that you can be proud of. Okay, so this is very unique, and I'm going to test this out only once. There will be only 9 spots available. So this is unlimited 15-minute sessions for a whole year. So what would happen is you just, I would send you a link, you set the session, which show up there. It's laser coaching, which means you share your problem in a very succinct laser way. And what I will do is I'll work with that in a very succinct laser way and come up with a very specific protocol of what to do next. So it's that kind of coaching. It's very action focused, and it's very change focused. You also get a downloadable recording of each session, and of course an email with all of the homework assignment, things that we talked about and agreed, and a link to schedule the next call. So it's only $9.97. It's a little bit crazy, so I'm going to see how this works out. I'd really love to support you guys in just in a very tangible continuity kind of way. For most part, we work together in the beginning, and then I'm not quite sure how you do afterwards. But if you want additional support, it's there and it's available for you. And I'll get to the questions in just a moment. So if you want that, the link is here. And gosh, I mean, I can't. Oh yeah, I can copy it and drop it for you in the chat here as well. Okay, that didn't go very well. There we go. There it is. Okay, another opportunity is if you're interested more in, maybe you don't need that kind of one-on-one support, but you want ongoing support similar to what you experienced here, then I want to invite you to the Transformation Masterclass monthly. This is where we really dive deep into various topics to help you to build out an arsenal, so to speak. We're not at war, but an arsenal of tools and techniques and approaches so that you know that you can handle every area of your life. So the way that the masterclass works, it's only $39 a month or $299 for the whole year. It's 60-minute classes. Usually we end up going over. It's 2 times a month. All classes are recorded. And you'll also get members only specials and perks. There's a private community where you can ask questions, we can collaborate. And you also have 7 days a week, of course, tech support. There's also a special bonus that if you join now, you're going to get access to the Energy Foundation series, which you see here on the screen. So you get that absolutely for free, $200 value. So this is how to optimize physical energy and elevate well-being, how to master emotional energy and transform your life, how to harness your mental energy and manifest your reality, how to awaken your spiritual energy and access higher consciousness. And then in the end, we put it all together into a 4-dimensional mastery practice. So if you're interested in that, here's the link. Let me see if I can actually get that link for you. There we go. And I'll drop that in the chat too. And lastly, I also want to let you know that right now, if you don't yet have a Chi Coil, you want to get started with something, this is the best opportunity to enter into the world of frequencies and start working with them. So there's an extra 10% off coupon, mini 10, off of the Chi Coil minis. And it's only from today for 3 days. Just an opportunity for you to start to experience frequencies. If you've only ever experienced them audibly, this would be the next level. This would be the way that you can advance in a very kind of in a minimal commitment, but at the same time, really begin to experience the energy of the frequencies. When you listen to them audibly, it's your brain, and your brain kind of picks up and trains into the frequency, sends it down the central nervous system, then down through the peripheral. And it may get to most of your body, but it may also not necessarily. But when you use the coils, what happens is it permeates your entire being, your body, your mind, your energy, your thought forms, your emotional energy. So the Chi Coils are the Chi Coil minis are an excellent way for you to start your journey into frequency. Okay, so let's just see questions. So Don is asking, can you only have the mini? Not sure what you mean about that, Don. What do you mean, can you only have the mini? You can have anything that you want. Payments. Yeah, let me know what you really mean by that. Okay, are there any specials for Inner Circle? And again, let me know what you mean by that. Feel free to, if you already have my contact information, feel free to just either text message me or email me. It's boris@chilifestore.com, just like the website. And we can talk about what you want. So yeah, let me know what it is that you're talking about, Janet, but I would say even maybe reach out to me directly, and we can see what we can do for you. All right. Well, I also want to just give you the, and of course, yeah, there's the link for the Chi Coil minis. It's chilifestore.com. And if you wanted to get in touch with me, it's just boris@chilifestore.com. That's the email. Okay. Are there any questions that we haven't covered yet? Feel free, you can put up your hand if you want to chat live, or drop them into the chat window. I'll just hang out for a moment here, see if there's any more questions. Meanwhile, I want to thank you for your participation. I hope this has truly served you. I hope you have a little bit more of a sense of direction, clarity, certainty about using frequencies in your life. And what I would suggest that you do is apply what we learned today as soon as you can. Certainly there'll be a replay coming out. Take a look, maybe even take screenshots. Maybe you took screenshots of this. I should have suggested that too. But yeah, put it into practice before it fades away. Get a sense, maybe just even write out for yourself what kind of protocol you want to have for a particular goal that you have, and program it in, set your calendar so that you're doing it daily, and watch what happens. really show up fully for yourself, because you only get out what you put in. And I want you to put in your whole heart, and you're going to notice there's going to be no limits for you when you do that. Okay, how long is it okay to charge the mini mobile kit? Only charge it, don't leave it charging necessarily overnight. I have done that before. It's okay, but it does degrade the lifetime of that battery. So charge it only for, as long as it needs to, for the light to turn blue. So when you plug it in and it's charging, the light is red, and then when it turns blue, it's done. So maybe typically it might take about 2 hours or 3 hours, depending. Okay. From YouTube. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, Philip. Awesome. We can follow up with Philip. Make sure you drop a message to us somewhere so that we can have some contact information for you if there's anything that you're interested in. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all of the best on your mastery journey. Take heart, take courage, know that you can do it, because you truly can, and you have incredible support. You have incredible technology. It can really make a difference for you when you apply it with skillfulness, with intention, with dedication. Okay, so can eating alkaline diet enhance the power of the chi coils? Alkaline diet can overall enhance your life, because many of the experiences that we have are quite acidic, certain emotions, the air we breathe, etc. But I can't speak directly about it enhancing the power of the chi coils, Leroy. But thank you for that question. Thanks so much, everybody. Deepak, Tony, Chipo, Stephanie, Leonard, I thank you all so much for showing up. Janet, I wish you all the very best. And until next time, take great care, and I wish you incredible journeys.